Good afternoon everyone and welcome back to NFLTV. I'm Samuel Zito, joined by Ramon Pinataro. Ramon, round 16 was a great weekend of action in Division 1. It was pretty tough to tip a winner. I know I picked one of the 5 results. I think you did a bit better, might have got 2. Just amazing the results that the competition continues to throw up in this back part of the year.
Yeah, I found it actually quite a bizarre round of football, seeing Greensboro defeat Northcote Park, Epping nearly getting over Heidelberg, Lockleigh over West Preston, Bundoora a great win over Montmorency also.
Just some massive results. Four of the games decided by less than 2 goals. The exception was at Geelong Reserve where Bundoora was too strong for Montmorency, and that was an important game, not just for Bundoora to take confidence into the finals campaign, but just for the competition as a whole. I think if Montmorency had have won that game, they were going to be really hard to catch in September. Now, this game here, not only do the Bulls stay in touch there's still a remote chance of going to first on the ladder if things go astray for Montmorency, but it certainly shows that the Magpies are more than beatable going into the finals campaign. And I think they might have just lost that aura of invincibility going in. I know they had that shock loss to McLeod 2 weeks ago, but this loss to a side inside the top 4 really shows that it's an open race for this year's premiership.
I think so, and seeing how Montmorency, of course, play Northcote Park this week, it's going to be interesting. Let's say they get a loss. Where's Montmorency going to be sitting after this week? I think it's going to be quite interesting.
It is a massive game, that one, the one you mentioned, Northcote Park taking on Montmorency at Bill Laurie Oval, because for the loser, they're in a little bit of turmoil going to the finals. It'll be 2 losses in a row going into round 18. I thought Northcote Park was probably the biggest loser last week. 7 goals up in the second quarter, up by 4 goals halfway through the last, and still couldn't manage to win at Greensboro. I thought would have been second after last week. I thought Monty would have won. I thought Northcote Park would have won. They would have been second with a tough run home against Montmorency and then Bundoora. Now they're 4th. I don't know if they can move back inside the top 3. And I mean, if they get the win, well then where does that leave Montmorency with 3 losses in a month heading into the finals?
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. Seeing Northcote Park, they have to win now their last 2 games, and the one thing they wanted to avoid was going into the elimination final again like last season, because I don't think they're going to be able to win the flag from that position. As for Montmorency, it's going to be a crucial game as well. They have to win, because once again, if they lose, where do they sit coming towards finals?
It wasn't all doom and gloom for Montmorency. They got off to a slow start. They was 6 goals down in the first quarter, and they got back in front in the last, and I don't think many sides would have managed that against the red-hot Bundoora outfit, but to then concede the last 5 goals, again, probably just ran out of gas, expending too much going, I guess, to try and get back in the lead. Eltham and Bundoora the second game. The Panthers, well, they finally reversed that losing drought out at McLeod, winning this one by 1 point. They also had a really big lead in the first quarter, 6 goals to 2 against the Kangas. Went behind in the last and then twice fought back from behind. James Chrysaradis kicked 6 goals. He has 14 in the past 3 weeks. He's been a find as a player. They've got a tough run home. They're into 5th spot, only by percentage over West Preston, but Bundoora and Heidelberg in the last 2 weeks, they need to find a win somewhere to ensure they're in the finals. It's going to be tough, but this might be the week given they're at home.
I think so, and looking where Eltham were the previous week, they lost against Epping and then have defeated McLeod with some great form. I think it'll be a good opportunity to come up with these 2 great sides, Bundoora and Heidelberg, if they can get 2 wins and then come into the finals.
Takes confidence.
Yeah, it certainly will. So as for the game itself, I'm going to be still sticking with Bundoora. I think they're going to end Eltham's campaign, but it should be a great game.
I think Bundoora as well. It's too hard to watch them play as well as they did against Montmorency and then think they'll have it down in the next week. Cameron Cloak was great with 5 goals, but I was most impressed by their entire backline. We saw Trent Barbero shut down Patrick Fitzgerald. Thought Ben Shelton completely blanketed Ben Walton. Down back also Brett Marshall had a great game. So too Neil Glowry. And if those 4 stand up throughout the next 6 weeks, the Bulls very well could be the side to really beat in September. West Preston Lakeside takes on Heidelberg. West Preston Lakeside will wear the old Lakeys jumper. They haven't lost since wearing that over the past couple of years, so maybe that's a good luck omen there. They've also had some pretty good form against Heidelberg. Had a 5-point loss earlier this year when they were struggling. Also drew the last time they met in 2012. Have to take some great confidence despite last weekend losing to Lowell Plenty. And Heidelberg, well, they got the win, but they're certainly not playing the best footy. Just snuck over the line against the Epping Football Club. This game here, I'm predicting this one to be less than 10 points again.
I'm actually going to be going with West Preston Lakeside. They seem to just really get a win against Heidelberg somewhere. I know they lost by 5 points last time, but going on Heidelberg's form at the moment, nothing disrespecting Epping, but they nearly got done against the bottom side of the competition, so I'm going to be going with West Preston Lakeside. Yeah,
it's hard to get a really good gauge at Heidelberg, but I guess the positive for them is they've still moved into 3rd, and they're, at the moment, looking at the way the fixture is panning out, you'd almost say they're they're the ones that have to take third over Northcote Park, which would put them in with double chance. And Heidelberg in the finals is always a dangerous prospect. I'm sure everyone would like to steer clear of them if possible. I'm still going to go with the Tigers, but I wouldn't be surprised if West Preston got the win here. They must bounce back, though, the Roosters, after losing basically with the last kick of the game against the Lower Plenty Football Club. Greensborough and Epping's the next game we take a look at. A big day for the Borough, who have Conlon Gunn playing his 200th A-grade game, and that's a great achievement in itself. They broke that 8-game losing streak against Northcote Park with their best performance for probably a month. They had been struggling over the past 4 weeks. They had 4 honourable losses prior to that. And Epping, well, they were gallant in defeat against Heidelberg within a goal in the last quarter and just refused to go away. Disappointing result, probably more so disappointing because Lower Plenty got the win, and they now have to win their last 2 games to ensure they're in Division 1 next season.
Yeah, there's no justice for Epping. Is nearly getting a win against Heidelberg. As you said, Greensborough are looking to get a little bit of form back, but I'm actually going to be tipping an upset. I'm going to be going with Epping for the win, but it was a fantastic win that Greensborough pulled off against Northcote Park.
If this game was at Epping, I'd be backing the Blues. I think just at home, they got some confidence up Greensborough last week, and playing for Conlon Gunn, I think they'll get the win. I have seen Epping play twice this year. They've won both games. I'll be there again the weekend, so I'm not sure if I'm the good luck charm or if they bring out the best for when we're around for the radio game, but a massive game for them, and they have to believe they can win those last 2 games. Greensborough away and then West Preston at home. They've had a really good month, it has to be said. They've won a couple of games. They've now pushed Heidelberg right to the line, and they have every reason to believe they can win those last 2 games and rightly avoid relegation. I think the Borough just. It was good to see Tim Bongetti back at the weekend. He kicked 4 and Reece Boyden kicked 5, so those 2 teamed up again and managed to hit 9 between them, which got them over the line against the Northcote Park Football Club. And the final game of the round is again at Montmorency Park. Lower Plenty with their second home game in succession. They take on McLeod. Really big game for both sides. Lower Plenty's now won 4 games from the season. They won 3 last year, so they've already improved on that. And I think they have to be confident of making it a 5th. They're really hard to beat at home, Lower Plenty. McLeod, they lost a massive opportunity to go inside the top 5. We mentioned they fought from 4 or 5 goals down to hit the front late against Eltham. Just couldn't hold on in Kane Shaw's 200th game. And they've made it tough for themselves to play in September because the 2 sides they're fighting for that 5th spot against, Eltham and West Preston, they've lost to 4 times this year, each time by under 15 points. They're still within a chance of being in the top 5 by day's end if they can get a win against the Bears and also West Preston and Eltham fall over.
Yeah, I think so. It's quite amazing how McLeod can play so well against those top 4 powerhouse teams and then go down to Eltham by a point next week. No disrespect to Eltham, but they did get defeated by Epping the week before, so they must win now their next 2 games, otherwise they could say goodbye to September. As for Lower Plenty, I did back them to beat West Preston Lakeside. It's exactly what happened. It's great to see them get a win, but I'm still going to be going with Eltham to win this Saturday.
McLeod, I reckon.
Eltham, McLeod.
Paddy Flynn was in the best, and he came back from VFL selection, so it's so great for Lower Plenty to get a player like Paddy Flynn into the team and just dominate. He kicked 3 goals from the ruck as well, and such an important player. I'm sticking with the Roos. I think, as you said, they're good enough to beat the sides like Montmorency, push Bundoora to 5 points, knock over Heidelberg and Northcote Park. They're worth another chance, but they certainly have made it tough for themselves. Must win the last 2 games. In a nutshell, 5th spot, there's two games to go. It's still Eltham, West Preston and McLeod. Who do you think is going to be the one at 5 p.m. in, I guess, 2 weeks' time that takes that spot?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I know I did put McLeod in that season launch in that 5th spot. I think they've still got the best chance, but just by looking at West Preston Lakeside play Heidelberg this Saturday, I certainly think if West Preston get a win against Heidelberg this week, then I'm going to put them in the 5th spot.
There we go. So a lot at stake. A massive round of footy. It is round 17. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll look at all the action in Division 2 and Division 3.